guys, happy Friday. Welcome to the Design Exchange. This is actually Sunday that we're recording, and I am guestless. Oh, Melina Peters Elliott is she's been pretty busy with work. She had a little flood at her store, which basically destroyed the entire front of her store. And I believe she's not going to be open until the 28th as she rebuilds everything that was damaged. I guess a hot water tank had exploded at her shop and destroyed her cabinets, countertops, floors, drywall, and the whole deal. So in our world, that's called an water intrusion. And those are two words I never like to hear together. So she's busy working on that. Tonight, we're going to be on 610 WTVN radio. If you tell any Alexa device to play 610 WTVN, in Columbus, Ohio, you'll be able to hear us at about 5:35 p.m. We'll be on with Mindy and Michaela on what matters most. So I wanted to be consistent with this podcast and make sure that I got at least something out to you. We've had a very, very, very busy week. I feel like I've driven more miles this week than I have probably in most of my I've driven more miles this week than I have in the year. So I was down at High Point Market where I got to see a bunch of you. It was so great seeing you guys. I wasn't going to go to market and I decided to go at the last minute. So we went to House Pro training all day on Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. And we were at the Abison showroom. So I know a lot of you guys use different CRM softwares. There's so many out there. MyDoma, Studio Designer, House Pro. Some of you just use QuickBooks. Some of you use Design Manager. I've gone through all of them, and House Pro just seems to work the best for me. So I've kind of stuck to that, and they have a lot in the pipeline, a lot coming down. And they purchased a program called Ivy, and a lot of designers weren't happy about that way back in when. Oh, excuse me. So my theory was if you can't beat them, join them. So I've been part of House for the last 2 to 3 years, and the software that they've brought over from Ivy has been really, really, really good to me, and they've been improving a lot of it. We're now able to do augmented reality walkthroughs with our clients. We're able to do 2D renderings, dollhouse renderings. What they call dollhouse is kind of like a 3D mock-up, but I would call it 3D light because they're gonna be making a bunch more adjustments to it. It's great for communicating with your clients. It's great for tracking your time. It's great for um, sending out proposals, estimates, and getting paid through the system. So it's something I recommend, but everybody works differently, as you know. So everybody does something different. But it was so great to be um, in this class. We had about 60 designers. It was just so great to be out there again and not have to worry about um, the whole COVID situation, which we are still very cautious about it. But it was nice that Market had catering back and the bars were all back. Um, I honestly can't tell you I went to a party because I really didn't. I just recently joined Ethos Design Collective, and we had a party or a get together at Woodbridge Furniture. Woodbridge is a vendor that I've been working with um, for the last maybe 8 years. So they actually make a bunch of different pieces that you can customize in about 3 different woods and 20 plus different paint colors. And they're really heavy on case goods. They don't really sell much upholstery. But I did sneak out of my class on Friday because I took my team with me and I wanted them to be in the training to get them on board and for them to learn what to do. And then I had my new office manager with me and I wanted him to see what Market was all about. So I snuck out with my friend Elise Elliott or Elisa Christine Interiors. But we actually got to walk through the inner hall on Friday and not get bombarded by people. I think attendance was a little bit down. While I was watching the news in North Carolina, they had said attendance was up 4% for pre-registration this year, but that 4% increase is pretty much based on an 85% decrease from the last few markets. As you know, we've had markets changing dates, markets getting canceled, but there were a lot of vendors there and I could see a lot of trends happening. And one trend that I called out about a year ago was all of this furniture is coming in and it looks like 1920s mixed with 1970s, and it's kind of bulbous and futuristic looking furniture. um, a lot of vendors are recovering from their supply issues. One thing that I thought was a little bit odd was Four Seasons Outdoor Furniture basically just put a sign on the window and said that they were busy fulfilling orders and that they would see us again in October. So they didn't even bother opening because the backlog of orders that are there. The supply chain seems to be untangling itself very well. I know that my warehouse is completely packed from orders that I placed back in last year's Vegas market, which I believe was in, I want to say March or April. And then we had the High Point market, which I believe was moved to June. But everything I had ordered at those two markets just now came in last week. So I've actually ran out of space in my warehouse for things. And I guess that's a good thing. So my clients that have ordered stuff way back when, back in February of last year, their stuff is finally coming in. A lot of my clients have been very patient, very happy to wait, and I haven't had too many issues with them. Um, so if you're watching this and you're a designer and you're wondering what to do or where to begin, I highly recommend attending markets. There are designers out there that don't attend markets, and that kind of worries me because I question how they're charging and how they're procuring their product. They typically would be procuring product at retail stores. And in my opinion, you're able to provide a lower price to your client, get the same product, and you control the supply chain of when it's coming. So we like to set up our office process where we hold everything in our receiving house. And once everything's in, we will then go ahead and install the project. So in the past 2, 3 weeks, I had a project in St. Paul, Minnesota. I think that's where it is. I had never been there before, but it was a very beautiful city. My receiver there was exceptional. We got to do everything at once, and I overheard the design team or the installers talking, and they were like, "Wow, we haven't been able to do a project like this in a while." And I go, "What do you mean?" I go, "Is it because of me? Is my stuff too heavy?" And they had said no, they just have been making so many little deliveries instead of doing one install at a time. They end up going back more and more. So I'm glad we're getting back into that because we've been having to do 2, 3, 4 different installs and it takes up a lot of time. But it seems like we're getting back to, I don't want to say the N word, but we're almost back to normal. Um, we're still, everything that I saw at market, it's still not going to be coming in until quarter 3. So quarter 3, I know quarter 3 ends. I know the ending of quarter 3 is like the beginning of October. So I just assumed everything's coming in October. But I did get to see a lot of stuff. A lot of the showrooms were light on product. I was in the Caracal showroom. And of course, only things when I'm traveling, strange things happen. So I was walking through the Caracal showroom with my rep, and all of the power went out. So it was quite fun to shop in the dark, quite a different experience. Caracal's in the art building, which one is one of the brand new buildings. So I don't know what had happened, but the power was out. The music was still working, and they had made an announcement saying that the power will return in 2 hours. And I was like, oh, great. Now what? So the power ended up coming back on in about 20 minutes. And then they then they said don't get in the elevator because the elevators needed reset. And if Danny Russo was stuck in an elevator at Market, oh my God, I don't know what I would do. It would just be very dramatic. But we just happened to park by the 200 Steel building, saw Caracal, ran in to see their product line, and they have a very diverse product line, and their quality for the price is really, really, really good. So I was trying to make my way over to Bernhardt, and I got over there, ran through IHFC, um, got to see a lot of stuff. Some of my main vendors were really light on showing product. Um, I did get to see a bunch of lighting that we need. I feel like our industry is very low on lighting right now. And then in the inner market hall, in the inner hall, it seemed like it was the Ohio hall because I got to see a company called Ethnicity, Ethnicity, and it's a company owned by my friend Don Schweitzer. I guess I shouldn't say friend, my acquaintance Don Schweitzer, and she makes these beautiful trays out of glass, mirrored glass, all kinds of different things. I have a few of her pieces in the warehouse here because she actually used to work with she used to build her own stuff in Columbus, Ohio, and she would always be showing off the beaten path, but she was in the inner hall. And then I ran down and saw another company out of near Toledo, Ohio, Port Clinton, and I can't remember their name, but they had a lot of wood pieces, and it was a husband and wife team. And they make a lot of handcrafted wood pieces. They had a lot of great original art. Um, I found one vendor named, and I really want to place an order with this vendor, Dome Deco, Cosmopolitan Living. And their prices weren't too bad. They had really, really high-end chairs that seemed to be pretty affordable, lots of oversized accessories. They do scale very well. And I love oversized pieces, oversized sculptures. Um, I'm flipping through here to see if I can show you guys something. Um, I just love their room settings and such. But if you get a chance, check out my my background's being blurred. Dome Deco. Can you see that? But they had some really interesting things. They had artwork, they had a 60-inch round mirror, um, lots of amazing side tables, hurricanes, a lot of really good quality upholstery. And I actually got to meet the owner, and she was a really, really, really nice lady. Another thing that I got to see, as we know, wallpaper's trending, nothing new there. But I met the owner of a company, and I cannot think of the name of it, but he had floor wallpaper. And I kind of felt like I was walking into a selfie museum. I got a little bit dizzy while I was walking through there, but they had some amazing wallpapers, and they also print their own linens, and they also do pillows as well. So I'm really short on pillows. I wish I could have spent a little more time there looking at pillows, because that's one area that I'm kind of short on at the moment. We are still doing pandemic related issues. They're still charging it's about 5 to 10% of for ocean freight on top of deliveries. Um, but the supply chain is catching up. That's a good thing. So, of course, now that the supply chain is getting caught up, we're at war with Russia. Well, we're not at war with Russia, but there's a war. So all the plastics that are Russia produces 10% of the world's plastics, and I believe I also heard they produce 10% of the world's oil. So we're dealing with a situation where they're going to be running out of plastics. So be prepared for shortages in that area. As you know, performance fabrics, outdoor furniture, that's all produced with plastic fibers. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. I just happened to order, I have Gloucester furniture on my own patio at home, and I happened to find something that I liked at Four Hands. And I ran up to Four Hands, and they were closing and they weren't going to let us in. So I had asked the woman that was working the door, I was like, well, do you have a gun? And she had said no. And I go, so if I just run in and look at this piece of furniture that I ordered, you can't, what are you going to do? You're going to shoot me? So, in true Danny Russo style, I went running through their security area and went straight outside, sat on the sofa. For somehow, this sofa was actually in stock and it's already on the road on its way to my warehouse. So that I was excited about that. Um, Forehands had a lot of good pieces to show. I didn't get to look that closely because I was just zooming through. Um, but there were a lot of unique things, and there's very attendance, like I said, was down, but if you have the opportunity to go in October, I think we're going to have a much better market come October. I think that what we're seeing coming down the pipeline for the next 5 years is what a lot of you are not going to like. It's this very bulbousy furniture. I can't think of another word other than bulbous, but it's very chunky. And one designer last market told me that when she went into Bernhardt, Bernhardt is completely modern now. And she said it looked very Fred Flintstone. So, in my opinion, I did go to Bernhardt. In my opinion, I would say it looks very modern, chic, but it's bulbousy Art Deco meets Fred Flintstone, very organic shapes. I saw a lot of pastels trending, a lot of like minty greens, a lot of dusty pinks, a lot of green. But I feel like green's never going to go out of style. I love working with green. I used to not like the color green at all whatsoever, but um, I saw a lot of black trending, and as a lot of you know, everybody thinks they associate me with the color black, and I really have only done two black rooms in my entire career, and they were both in a museum. And there's an intention for me doing the black rooms in the museum. I wanted them to be dark and moody, and I wanted the furniture to stand out. So that was a good thing. Philip's collection was great. I know Mark Mark is the owner. Jason is his son, I think. I might have that wrong, but they had a great showing. They had some new pieces as well. So I am actually being part of the Instagram takeover for Market on the 20th. So watch for that. Follow my Instagram. It's at Danny Russo. Um, we're rebuilding our website right now, and I'm excited for that. But everything is taking a lot of time. Our contractors are backed up. Um, I mean, the word backup and delay is like common in my office. So um, I also just had the opportunity of speaking to the World of Fashion class at Youngstown State University. One of my high school friends is actually the professor of that class, and her name's Professor Jennifer Frank. And I was so honored to be there. Of course, I was a tad bit late because I got a little lost, um, which is a quite funny story. But I will be back up there in their fashion show. Um, I guess I'm walking in their fashion show on Thursday of next week. Well, I guess Thursday of this week. So very happy. I have about 2 or 3 clients up in the Northeastern Ohio area, and hopefully I'll be able to bring them some interesting things. But I just wanted to make sure I had a podcast out for you guys. If you have any questions, we do have the TDX podcast on Instagram, and we also have the Design Exchange Facebook group. Feel free to join that. And if you have any questions or want me and Melinda to cover any topics, I hope that we're going to have another podcast out for this Friday. But I just wanted to get this one out to you guys. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you are having a great spring. It's still freezing here in Ohio. Um, I drove back from Youngstown, Ohio to Columbus yesterday, no, day before yesterday, and I experienced rain, wind, snow, sleet, and sun all in one day, all in one drive. Um, but I had a lot of fun with my nephews, and um, I'll post pictures. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to email Danny at danielhome.com, new edition, um, or follow the TDX podcast on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow Melinda on Instagram. I'm sure I'm going to be down at that store shortly, and we might do a podcast from there. But anyway, happy designing. I met so many great people at um, I met so many great people at High Point. If you're a designer and you're listening to this and you haven't been, you've got to go. I mean, the amount of people and the amount of information exchanged is just, I mean, you really need it. I'm looking at my new friend Laura Hildebrandt's business card, and she was just an amazing girl, and we had such a great conversation. But I had so many great conversations with a lot of you guys. So um, I think I covered everything I was going to talk about. Logistics are a nightmare. Pieces are getting lost. Pieces are coming in damaged. It seems like they're getting to us faster, but um, it feels like at any given moment, something else is going to go wrong. But anyway, I hope you are having fun designing. If you're a client watching this, I hope you know how hard your designers are working for you to make your home special, unique, and timeless, 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 timeless. So I'm Danny Russo, and thanks for watching the Design Exchange or listening on your podcast. Like I said, we're on all the podcast apps. We're on iHeartRadio. We're going to be live on iHeartRadio on in studio tonight, and I will talk to you soon. Happy designing. Bye bye.